Hey Troopers, welcome back to the Island Trooper 4x4 Garage, your friendly neighborhood mechanic weighing in today on the subject of how to change rear leaf spring shackle bushings on your Isuzu Trooper. The years from, well, basically 84 to 91. But before we take a look at that, we're just going to take a look at what is available. If you like some of these remixes that I play, I encourage you to check out house music or car music on YouTube. You're going to find some trap tunes of stuff like this. This is AC/DC TNT. It's one of my favorite remixes ever. Anyways, let's not waste too much time, shall we? What we're addressing today is the issue of your rear shackle bushings and the body lean that it can create. Okay, so you can get a lot of body lean when shackles, when the bushings are done, when the shackles start to wear out. So the first thing I'm going to do is ask you to get onto your goggle and just type in aftermarket rear leaf spring shackles Isuzu Trooper. And what you're going to do is you're going to get this page here. And if you have leaf spring problems themselves and you need to get some new leaf springs, check it out on eBay, because they are certainly on the obsolete list at my parts distributors. So when I go to my parts guys, they cannot get leaf springs for me. eBay and a few other places online seem to have them still. Anyways, we can get a look at all the stuff that comes up, these hangers and shackles and bushings, and you can take a look at what's out there. I'm seeing some pretty interesting things, okay? I'm definitely curious and I like to try new stuff. So when I get up here, I'll just click on this images for aftermarket rear leaf spring shackles, and that'll take me to this page here, which has just got oodles of stuff. I'm seeing some pretty cool things that I have not tested yet, like for instance these H-tune shackles right here. You can see they're on an arch and swivel sort of design. Normally with the Isuzu Troopers in the first gen, we're dealing with shackles that are basically a straight up H design, like these right here, or like the original stock models that have the sort of L shape with the pin on each side. So everything from sort of stock L shapes that have Zerk fittings installed for greasing. Typically you'll see these soft rubber bushings, and there are some other options as far as like these H-tune goes. These H-shaped sort of shackles, you'll get those from Calmini as well. They actually look a little more like these gold ones here, which have obviously been treated. The pair that I think that I would really want to buy if I wanted a pair of rear leaf spring shackles that were never going to break or cause me problems are actually designed by an Isuzu Trooper enthusiast. And so I'm going to take you to his page right now. You can find him on Planet Isuzu. His name is Jeff in BC. He hails, of course, from Chilliwack, British Columbia, Canada. And his website is super cool. I've been wanting to tell you guys about Jeff for a while. I don't know if Jeff is on YouTube. I don't think he is. But he's got a beautifully designed website. And so if you want to email Jeff about anything that we're talking about today, you can simply email him at isuzutrooper@shaw.ca. isuzutrooper.shaw@shaw.ca. Okay, and so the page is just simply listed as a 1990 Isuzu Trooper website, and this is where he shares with you his upgrades, and he's done some pretty impressive upgrades. Okay, I mean, for the start, what we're talking about is a 3.2 liter V6, and that definitely was not stock in this 1990. So he's done quite a few other things, including air lockers for the diffs, and his rear leaf spring shackles are quite impressive. So I've just gone ahead and put a pair up in the shopping cart here, because he's got PayPal, and he's able to sell you a number of things. If you're doing a V6 upgrade and you want to check out his intake, wow, he's got some other things that I'm not really going to talk about today, but I encourage you to go check those out. So let's have a look at the shackles that we've got here. The cost is $225 Canadian. I don't believe he charges tax, and as I mentioned, he's got PayPal. Now these shackles, I don't know if you can get a good look at them there. They're freaking huge. I mean, Mount these on your Sherman tank and I believe they're going to be strong. Anyways, so you can see Jeff in BC has tackled this problem, and today we're going to talk about a few other options. For starters, we could go to Cal Mini's website, but like I say, I'm going to show you Cal Mini's stuff right now, and they are not as strong as these shackles right here. Jeff in BC wins the award for the strongest, toughest rear leaf spring shackle on the market, as far as I can tell. That's just my opinion. If I speak in error, I apologize. I'm going with the research and the information that I have at hand. So, you know, I am finding some things that I've never messed with before. These H-tunes look really interesting. There's a few other guys that are trying these arch. Now, these are being listed as a D-Max shackle. So I don't know if these are going to fit your Trooper. They might, but they don't look like they're being made for a first-gen Trooper. If you've got coilovers, then this conversation really isn't for you. But let's have a look at what we're talking about today. Hold on a second here. Let's just answer the phone. Hello, you're on YouTube. Can I help you?
Hello? Fuck you.
Fuck you?
Fuck you.
No, seriously. Fuck you.
No, seriously. I got a new phone and you didn't call me back, so fuck you.
Oh my god. I'm in the middle of shooting a YouTube video. Can I call you back in about 5 minutes?
Okay, fuck a YouTube.
Did you say fuck YouTube? Alright, buddy, I'll talk to you later. Yeah. Some of my friends are super cool and we have a lot of fun. So I hope you don't take offense to that. Anyways, so yeah, there's a wide variety of shackles here. A couple of designs I haven't played with before. Don't even know if these are for a first gen, you know, but this is the kind of stuff I'm finding. So just goggle yourself some rear leaf spring shackles. Those look dope, right? But are they going to fit a first gen Trooper? Don't know. Check it out for yourself. They're apparently for sale on Amazon. Fulcrum suspension specialists. Alright, so lots of options. What are we going to cover today? Today we're going to cover energy suspension and Cal Mini. And the stock ones as well. Oh, having a smoke break. My smoke went out because I'm talking too much. Excuse me. Okay, so when you get your energy suspension bushing kit, what you're going to find is that they tend to be a little chintzy with the grease. And I'm not too happy about that, but that's the only thing I'm not too happy about with their kit. They didn't seem to send me enough grease to get the job done. And I see that they're advertising on the energy suspension website where they want you to get extra grease, right? Well, if I speak in error, I apologize, but I'm pretty certain that I've figured out what kind of grease they're using on these polyethylene bushings. It's dielectric grease. And so when you're at the parts counter at your local Napa or Lordco, you'll find these Permatex kits. They make a wide variety, you know, your battery protector, and this is these are two of the same thing. You've got the orange one here, which shows you a nice little picture of a spark plug boot. It says it's dielectric grease, but these are the old yellow ones. You may still see those around, and they just simply say they're spark plug boot and electrical connector dielectric grease. So Permatex makes a wide variety of products that you're probably familiar with. I'm a big fan of their stuff. I like it very much. You know, even their fuel tank sealer, I've used this stuff. It's freaking amazing. Sealed the hole with the gas pouring out. Anyways, back to these shackles. So here's a set of our stock shackles. And you can see that, again, that L shape that I spoke of, they just simply shackle together like that with bushings in the middle through the leaf spring eye. Now, over the years, I've noticed how thin these shackles are. They're very thin, and they're just stamped out of plate steel. It is hardened, of course, but then the pin gets welded around the back. These actually bend really easy. Yeah, I mean, if you're putting any heavy 4x4 stress on your Trooper, these bend really easy. They also get horribly corroded, and I mean horribly corroded. They take a lot of wear, a lot of pressurized action between the bushings, the leaf spring, and the shackles, and so they tend to wear out really bad. I don't know how well you can see it on the video, but I've got flat spots on these shackles. Can you see that? There's a big ridge line that's built up here, and that's from some pretty serious wear and tear, and just you know, a lack of service, really. The stock system, if you go and buy a set of stock Shackles and bushings, you know, I did that for my very first Trooper, and I realized that there's definitely opportunity to improve these, much like Jeff in BC has realized, and he's created a product line on that. So I won't do that again. I won't buy a pair of stock Shackles and bushings, because for a little bit more money I can put something in there that means that, you know, unless I go out and break it through something hardcore or an accident, I never have to talk to these Shackles again. I never have to talk to those bushings again. So here's a heavy duty set of options from Cal Mini. They come embossed with this beautiful Cal Mini stamp, and they are indeed very heavy duty. Here's the bolt set that goes with them. Zinc coated by the looks of it, and you know, they're pretty standard. What I was surprised to find out when I got the 3-inch Cal Mini lift kit is that they don't supply bushings. They really don't. I'm blown away by that, right? We've got the H Shackles themselves and the 4 bolts along with some washers and some nylock nuts, but no bushings. So that forced me to talk to Energy, you know, and Energy's got a line of suspension parts that I'm quite happy with. You know, for other things, they've got these crazy hex tie rod boots. I bought these sway bar lockers from them, which seem to be like very dainty. I don't expect them to last long, but it's a solid idea, locking that sway bar down. They have the sway bar bushing kits themselves, polyethylene bushings, all of them. You know, it can get extra polyethylene bushings for your shocks. There's a wide variety of things on the Energy website, and as soon as I started to find Trooper listings for the website or through their catalog, I was quite pleased. So let's have a look at the old bushings and see what's the issue with these old bushings. Well, they can get pretty worn out, right? Just like these pins, and they are just straight natural rubber. And so this one here is not so bad, but you can see this hole is, it's no longer, it's not a perfect circle. It starts to eat into the rubber pretty bad. But I can tell this one's not so bad because it actually has bushing on the side still. We get to this one, you know, and you can see the bushing on the side is completely eaten away and just leaving a little bit of a trace here, and it's almost completely through the bushing itself. Now, if it gets worse than that, this one's not so bad, but it's cracked. If it gets worse than that, then we find bushings that look like these. And you can see the bushing on the side is completely worn out, and part of the bushing is completely missing. And so this part would be the part that rests on the bottom of the pin. And so what has happened is the pin has rocked so many times like this back and forth that it's actually chewed through the bottom of the bushing, and now you're metal on metal. It'll be in there, so it'll give you some cushion when it slaps around and jumps up and down or side to side. But where the most of the pressurized load is on the bottom of the pin, it's going to wear that right out, and then that's why you get these flat spots, because it's starting to rub on the spring itself. And the spring being hardened, you know, it's a much harder steel. It's a much higher grade of steel than these pins. It's definitely going to win the battle, and it's also in a very smooth contoured shape, so that there's really no way for this pin to win that battle. So metal on metal, the pin loses, and your eye on your leaf spring may actually have some damage or some wear. So let's break open this box. I mean, I've already been into one. I've ordered a couple of these kits, and I'm actually working on the gold label Trooper outside. I've got some air pumped out there and a bunch of tools set aside. We're going to actually go and take a look at the truck, as well as an extra differential with leaf springs on it, and we can have a look at the job, and I'm going to show you what I think is one of the easiest ways to get this job accomplished. In the front, I've already done the rears, so let's just see if I can put the camera in a nice spot to do a little unboxing for you here, and we'll see what we get. Alright, good. So, We get one of these boxes. I'm paying around $60 for one of these boxes, Canadian. And I did find that a little bit expensive, but the idea is that these are lifetime bushings. I believe this is a solid investment because these are far superior to the rubber bushings. And the idea is they're not going to warp, they're not going to wear out, and I won't have to buy them ever again. Now, I can see that it wasn't just a mistake, and I can stand by my opinion that Energy Suspensions, I love you guys. If you're watching this, you're being too chintzy with the dielectric grease. Come on, cough it up. I'm supposed to put a light coating of dielectric grease on each one of these polyethylene bushings. Yet, let's have a look at how many bushings I've got. Right, these big ones here, these are for the front, small ones for the rear. So, of course, naturally, as you can figure out, I've got 8 for the rear in small, and I've got 4 for the front, right? So you got 2 sets of 4 for each rear shackle, and 4 for the fronts. And to do all that, to grease all of those, now what do you want to grease? Am I over greasing? No, I'm following the directions. I mean, it's not too hard. Here's the directions from Energy Suspension, right? I'm putting a light coating of grease on any metal to bushing contact. So anywhere this bushing contacts metal, I want a thin coating of dielectric grease. And I mean thin, you know? This stuff is super sticky, and it does like to go in a thick coat. So you just want to get yourself a set of disposable gloves and roll it on there. But I don't find these tubes are good enough for the whole kit. I can use one of these tubes and do one complete rear shackle. So that chews up my grease right there. Both rear shackles are greased, and I'm out of grease. So here's my choice to go and get that dielectric grease from Permatex, and that's literally all it is. I'm 100% certain, but you know, there's a chance that somebody could tell me I'm wrong from Energy. They could say it's a bit of a different formula or something. Either way, dielectric grease is designed not to damage rubber or plastic. So, and of course, being dielectric, it doesn't conduct electricity, so not on your leaf springs, you don't have any worry about that. So anyways, here's our kit. We got a couple of roller pins, we got all our bushings, $60. We do this job, we never talk to those leaf springs again. You know, ideally you would remove your leaf springs and restore them. If you're not going to put a new set on there, you're going to use the old same set of leaf springs, then maybe you want to inspect them, make sure they're not warped, bent, or worn heavily in any part, and then maybe you want to repaint them before doing this. I could not get blue. This sort of royal blue is one of my favorite colors because the Cal Mini lift kit comes in that. You know, some of the stock Isuzu 4Z1s have blue on the iTech. That was the color of choice for them. And so I like blue, but I could only get these in black, and they were a special order through my parts guy. So, I mean, just last week, Energy Suspension sent me these. So I know they're doing it, but I couldn't find it in their catalog. I can't recall whether I found it on their website. I have a paper copy of their catalog, and it wasn't in there. Or it said not available. And on the website, I can't remember. Can't rightly recall. But anyways, let's go have a look at the truck, and we'll take a look at what kind of tools you need. Oh, wait a minute. Before we get started, what are we going to need? All right, we're going to want some hearing protection, we're going to want some eye protection, and we're going to want some gloves. So, let's get a set of glasses, get a set of earmuffs, and we'll get a set of gloves, plus a set of disposable gloves for while I'm applying the grease. Alright. Are we at 19 minutes? Oh my god. Yeah, I just babbled for too long, guys. I think what we're going to do is we're going to cut this video short, and we're going to come back with part 2 here as we do these leaf springs. So what I'll just quickly show you, underneath, I'm done the rear set, okay? And so I've cleaned up the stock shackles, I've inspected them, I've decided that there's no flat spots on the pins and that they're okay to reinstall. But the bushings were totally toast. So I've installed the new set. You can see the dielectric grease. I've got a little bit of extra spitting out the sides. Not a bad thing at all. Back here on the right hand side, same thing. And so what's going on here, when you wear out these bushings, you get body lean and body roll. And that can actually cause some stability issues, and you will notice it. When you're in the cab and you're going around a corner and it starts to lean hard, you'll notice it. And so if you're suffering some of those symptoms, replacing these bushings and making sure you have good springs in the rear is definitely going to improve your ride. So we'll get suited up for this job. Come on back for part 2 of how to change the leaf spring bushings on your shackle kit on your Isuzu Trooper.